In this video, I'm doing a commentary on a match between Kazaross and Kit Woolsey. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy this video. Please like and subscribe and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you to Bill Riles and Tara Mendocino of Point Backgammon for allowing me to use this video in the commentary. My book, Backgammon Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. So, this is a 7-point match between Kit Woolsey and Kazaross, two legends of the game. They need no introduction. This is from the 2024 Texas Backgammon Championships, the UBC USA event. So the way this works is there is a Swiss format or a round-robin format where everyone plays each other. There are two groups. When you win, you get 1 point if you win the match, and if you win the PR, if you make fewer errors than your opponent overall, then you get another point. So you have to be a really good player to play in this and win it. So Kit Woolsey is playing the white marble checkers at the bottom. Kazaross, the black marble checkers at the top. They're playing on a beautiful Backgammon Galaxy Monte Carlo board with the Monte Carlo inlay. The green surface with the orange and white points. First seen in the 2022 Backgammon World Championships at Monte Carlo. This is available through Backgammon Galaxy. I'll put a link. This is a beautiful board. So you see the board on the main screen, the names of the players above and below, along with their pip count and score. This is a 7-point match. The clock is on the right. There is a baffle box on the left, so the dice will always be on the left-hand side. The way you can tell whose turn it is by looking at the light on the clock at the right. So right now it's Kit's turn, so his light is on at the bottom, and now he tapped. It's Neil's turn. To the left of the board are the players' cams. They do a great job in Texas with that, and I have enlarged the dice to the left so you can see whose roll it is and the dice more easily. The XG feed is at the lower left and my camera is at the upper left. So this is an outstanding tournament. If you've never been to San Antonio, I definitely recommend it. This is one of the most popular tournaments in the United States. So after some development, first game of a 7-point match, Kit has turned the cube, so Neil owns a 2 cube, and now Kit has a 4-2 to play. So he can hit another checker. Neil already has 1 checker on the bar. Kit has a 4-point board, so he can hit another checker with 22 to 18 and look for the 2. After that, it doesn't really matter. Looks like that XG analysis prefers 13 to 11, but it looks like the natural play is what he's looking at, 9 to 7, bring another checker to bear on the 2-point. That's what he does. 4-1 for Neil, brings in 1 checker. Kit's looking to attack. Double 5. Okay, so what can he do? He wants to attack, so he's going to put another checker on the bar. That's going to make it harder for Neil to anchor. Bring another one down and come all the way around. Looks like XG prefers playing 8 to 3 with one of them to bring another builder, which is kind of deep, a dilly builder. So 4-3, Neil comes in with 1, makes that anchor. That's good for long-term safety. 5-4 for Kit. He's able to hit another checker and partially escape his final back checker. Neil's looking for a 2. No, he rolls a 5-4. So he brings in 1 more checker, still has another one on the bar. Kit wants to cover. Double 3. He's able to do that. So that's 2. And he can bring 1 down, and slightly better to continue to the bar point. It does duplicate the hitting 4 threes, and although this does make a point, it's a point that he's going to want to clear soon, and it's often hard to clear. Turns out he did the right thing, so he was hit anyway, so it didn't really matter too much, but you didn't want to let another blot. So 6-1, he comes in, bar 18. Neil has targets. 4-2. So he can hit, but it's better to just safety. There are too many return shots, 8 numbers that hit back. 4-3 is one of them. The others were 5-2, 6-1, and 6-4. Actually, there was another one, double 5. Neil dances with a 6-1. Now 3-2. He hits another checker, and he can partially clear, start to clear the 10-point, which is going to be the difficult one, or he can play 8-6, which is what he's looking at. That gives a little bit more flexibility. 4-2. Neil comes in with one more. Still has another checker on the bar. Hits looking for a 3. No, he doesn't get it. So what can he do? Trying to duplicate some numbers. He plays 10-5 to start clearing, and 8-7 duplicates the 3s that hit. Neil gets a 6-4 and hits the other one. Now Kit's on the bar. 6-5. So the 5 is forced, and now there are 3 options. You can continue to 14-point, bring one down to the 9-point, or safety a checker. This is a very difficult decision. Turns out safetying a checker was best. Okay, 6-5. Neil's able to hit, so he hits the first one and brings out another checker into the outfield to provide more outfield coverage. 6-5. So that the 5 is forced, and now he's got a safety the other checker on a 7-point. Kid has a huge racing lead. He just wants to bring things home. The fewer blots, the better. Now 5-3. So with this, he can make a nice blocking point, but it looks like it's better to play to the 13-point. So that does block numbers like 6-2, for example. Only number that would hit would be 6-5. Now 6-4 and 6-5 hit. 3-1, he can't do anything. He has to play on the inside of his board, so he plays 6-2. Every time he dumps a checker behind the anchor, it decreases the flexibility. So now 6-3. Again, what is he going to want to do? He can play 21-15. And that makes the 15 points, so that blocks 6-4. And then it looks like he has to play safe with 6-3. Looks a little ugly because you don't really want to play behind the anchor. However, it does have the benefit of unstacking the 6-point, which is nice, and you stay back to maximize the contact. Basically, Neil wants to contain those 2 back checkers as best as possible. He's down by over 80 pips in the race. So he plays 16-13 with the 3. 3-1, another bad number. He has to play behind. He's looking at possibly clearing the 6-point, but that may be a little useful later. 4-3. So now what? Now what happens is, so he plays 13-10 and he can come out. The benefit of bringing 2 out, that's what the computer likes, is white is stripped on the inside. 3-2. So now something had to break like that. So he's going to clear his 6-point, hit on the 4-point. Neil's looking for a 4 to hit and enter. No, he rolls a double 3. Kit's looking for this opportunity to bring things home. 6-5, that's completely forced. He's got to bring it all the way around to the 9-point. Neil can hit with a 4 or a 6-1. He gets the 6-1. Good roll. So he sends back a second checker. Kit's looking to come in. Double 5. Okay, so that's a good roll because it's completely forced. He's forced to come in with the 1 and cannot move after that. All right, double 4. So what can you do with the doubles? 15-11 twice is pretty clear. That creates a nice blocking point, 6 away from the anchor. And Neil wants to contain that anchor, so he doesn't want Kit to move that with a 6. Now with the other 2, looks like making the 2-point is better for the reasons I mentioned earlier. It does unstack the 6 point, it also has the benefit of making a 2-point board. So in the event of a potential upcoming hitting exchange, which is rather likely, at least Neil will have a second inner-board point. The likelihood of dancing on a 2-point board is 4 times that of dancing on a 1-point board. So plays safe. 6-5. He cannot move. 5-3. So now he can make the point. Maintains the same structure in the outfield. Double 2. Great roll for Kit. He's able to advance the anchor. Now that makes it much easier to escape. 4-3, so he's going to stay 7 away, make his bar point. Some semblance of a prime. The 6-1, the 6 is forced, and he's going to come in and hit. So now Neil can come in and hit with 4, 6-3, 6-2, or 6-1. He gets a 4-1, hits twice, sends a third checker back. Hits 2 checkers. Now he has a 2-point board. That was a great roll. Now Neil is too good to double. Kit comes in with a 3-2. Neil is too good to double here. Now at the 5-4. So he can point on head, make the 2-point, put a second checker on the bar, and that would only leave double 5s and double 1s to hit. Alternatively, he can hit the third checker and continue or do something else. That still pays off to the double 5, or he can make his 5-point, which makes a 3-point board. It does make a 4 prime, a solid 4 prime and a broken 5 prime, but it was better to point on head. So 6-4, he comes in with the 4. I think he's going to have to safety. Can't afford to continue. That leaves too many shots with 5s on the other side, direct 1s, 4s, and 6s. He does safety. Neil is looking to possibly redouble. It looks like it's still too good to redouble. So in a money game, which is not the case here, there's the Jacoby rule, named after Oswald Jacoby, co-author of the Backgammon book. So Neil redoubles and Kit passes. So Neil takes a 2-0 lead, 5 away, 7 away. So the Jacoby rule in a money game states that gammons and backgammons do not count unless the cube has been turned. Here it's a redouble, so it didn't matter. But in a match you don't have that. So you can win an undoubled gammon, which is also called a natural gammon, to win 2 points. So Neil is ahead 2-0. So he is 5 away from his goal of getting to 7 points. So his away score is 5 away and Kit's is 7 away. The reason why that's important is because you need to get to 7 points in this case. If you get to 8 or 9 or anything more, that's wasteful, that's called overage, and it's unnecessary. And that becomes inefficient. So Neil splits with an opening 5-1. Kit makes his bar point. Now at the 5-4, Neil's got to just run 24-15. Now 5-2 for Kit. He's going to play one down and split his back checkers. Gets things moving. 4-3. He can play there. Looks like XG preferred bringing the other one out because there are 10 checkers in the zone. 5-2. Looks like he's going to have to do the same thing. Now he can make an anchor. Neil has those awkward stacks of 5 checkers on the 6 and the 8 points. 5-3, just like that, he was unable to make the 3-point because Kit anchored, but he ran his back checker. Kit's looking for a 3. He gets it. He hits with the 4-3, brings 2 down. Now he has 13 checkers in the zone, ready to attack. Double 6. Neil can't come in. Now, Kit has a doubling decision. Looks like it is a double. Neil takes it before it touches the table. The race is very close, so the take is clear, but there's a lot of potential, and Black's position is very awkward and inflexible. That was a good roll. He made his 4-point. Now with the 5-2, he's going to come in with the 2 and play another checker to his 8-point. Not good. 5-2. So Kit would have liked to make his 5-point cleanly. He can make it now. but that would leave a blot on his 7 point, and he needs that prime for now. So he can't afford to make the 5 point right now. Best is just running one back checker, and what that does is it duplicates the hitting 3s from the 6 point and the 13 point, along with a 3 that will allow Neil's back checker to step up to the edge of the prime, to that gap on White's 5 point, so that would allow him to possibly run with a 6-3, 5-3, or a 4-3. He does find the right play. Double 4 by Neil. Okay, so that's nice because it allows him to productively unstack those 2 heavy stacks, making 2 inner board points. Now he has a stronger inner board, which is always advantageous in a potential hitting exchange. 4-2, he's able to make his 9 point. Strengthens his prime. 2-1 for for Neil. Looks like he has nothing better than to hit there. 6-4, he dances. Now with the 3-1, he would have liked to cover his 3 point. He cannot. Best thing you can do is step up with the back checker and lift that blot. Alright, so Kit has 1s, 3s, and 5s to come in, but those numbers are duplicated to hit as well. So he rolls a 6-3. The 3 is forced to come in. Now with the 6, looks like he just has to safety the blot. Yeah, the race is close. He doesn't want to have another checker sent back. 3-1. Again, not a productive roll. He's going to have to play 8-4, putting another builder beyond the gap on his 5 point. 6-4. He'd like to escape his back checker, but after the 6 it would be blocked. So it's better to equalize the board strength and make the 2 point. Alternatively, another close play is to hit loose on the 5 point after coming out. Kit is very good at visualizing the play. So unlike a lot of players that play a move without hitting their clock to look at the resulting position, Kit normally visualizes it in his head, so he doesn't do that. He only moves the checker when he's decided on the final move. But you are allowed to move the checker just to look at it, see what the resulting position would look like before hitting your clock, and then move it back. It's best to always bring everything back to the original position and then look at an alternative move. So he plays 8-4. Now Neil rolls a 5-1. He wants to escape. The race is close. He's down 9 pips before the roll, so he'll be down only 3. He can come out. That will leave a 6 shot there. So that's 16 numbers that would hit. Normally, when you're 6 away from a blot and there's nothing, no blocking points between them, there's 17 numbers that hit. Here, double 2 would not hit. So that decreases it by 1. So 16 numbers should he do that. And then the ace, he just plays 8-7 so as not to leave a blot on the board and diversifies 6-2. He is able to hit, and he can continue. So that's good for Kit. Sends another checker back for Neil. 6-3. So the 3 is forced, and the 6 he's going to bring down to make his bar point. Kit's looking to attack. 3-2. He cannot. Looks like it's best with this racing lead to play 2 behind. He does clear the 9 point. Neil's looking for a 6, so a 6-4, down by 17 pips. He's going to get 10 pips here. Now the race is relatively close, so he can take his chances rather than staying back to possibly be attacked. Now Kit rolls a 4-2. He's just trying to create an ideal bear-off structure. If you want to learn about the ideal bear-off structure, I recommend reading Backgammon Bootcamp by Walter Trice. Ideally, you want the most checkers on the highest point. So the best bear-off structure with, I believe, 79 pips is to have 7 checkers on the 6.5 on the 5 point and 3 on the 4 point. But if you can make a right triangle, that's always good with the most number of checkers on the highest point. The reason for that is because when you have checkers on the low points and you roll a large number, you will waste your pips. So that becomes inefficient. Okay, so now it's a dice rolling contest. 2-1, bad roll for Neil. 5-2 is able to take off a checker and he'll play 4-2, just like that. 6-4. If you've never played on one of these Backgammon Galaxy boards, I highly recommend it. The manufacturer is FM Gammon. I have an FM Gammon board, and they're just fantastic. Nice wood quality, and my favorite thing is that you're able to change these surfaces. So you can remove that with a magnet, replace it with another one, and you can have different colors. It's almost like having a new board. And then you can use different checkers. The differences in this board is that it's rather smaller, so you can only fit 10 checkers across. So that makes it smaller and more compact, easier for travel, and makes it lighter. The wood can get a little heavy. Neil can still do this. 5-2, he bears off 2 checkers. Two off for Kit. Neil's going to need to roll good here. 4-3. So he has to play the 4 that way and bear off a checker with a 3. 6-1. Still, Neil has hope. He's going to need something good. 4-3 again. Bad. He cannot bear off a checker. Okay, so that helps. Neil's going to need a double soon. No. Now Kit needs to roll a 1 followed by a double 2 or better for Neil. No. Kit rolls the 5-2, bears off 2 checkers. So now the score is 2-2. 5 away, 5 away. When they're playing with a baffle box like this, each player rolls 1 die, in particular when they're the same color, calls their number, pulls it to their side, and then the other person rolls so the die does not hit the other one. Whoever rolls higher plays that roll. So 5-3 for Neil makes his 3-point. Now with a 2-1, the standard reply is to split the back checkers and bring 1 down. 5 away is a common score. The take point is a little bit higher than money, particularly because a double gammon gets you to the Crawford score. That's a valuable score. 3-1. He makes his 5-point, but Kit's able to hit with a 6-4. Hits and continues, escaping 1 checker all the way to the midpoint. 6-1. So he comes in and pops out. Kit has targets. 4-2. That is a target, but because of Neil's stronger board, it's better to just play safe and make the 9-point. Just like that. Hitting is a blunder. Kit recognizes that. 6-3. So he's going to anchor and bring 1 down. That 18-point is going to provide a lot of security for Neil. 4-3. So The only real productive 4 he has is 13-9. If you look at the back checker, cannot move with a 4, but it can go up with a 3. That will help him escape. He's already ahead by 8 pips, so with a roll of 7 he'll be up by 15 pips trying to escape. Not as dangerous as it may seem because Neil only has 8 checkers in the zone, but he can hit with a 6-2 or double 2, making that point. He does get it. Good roll for Neil. 6-2 makes the 4-point board, the best 4-point board. I believe they call that the barrel. The best 3-point board is called the rack by Bill Roberti. And now they have the barrel, and I heard the term for the best 5-point board is the beast. And of course, if the board is closed, it's just a closed board. So now 6-2, he's going to try to escape. Neil's looking to hit with a 3 or an 8. No, he rolls a 4-1. He's going to keep that goalkeeper back. 4-3. So Kit can escape. Play 15-8. Good roll. So now with the 6-3, Neil is down only 10 pips. So now he'll be down by 1 pip. So he will have sufficient contact if he plays 24-18. The mantra is if you're ahead in the race, you want to race. The converse is if you're behind, you don't want to race. You want to maintain contact. However, sometimes you have a choice as to how much contact you can have. And that goalkeeper on Neil's 24-point is like the tail of the dragon. The anchor is the dragon, and that's the tail. Sometimes people call it the dragon with the tail when you have an anchor and a goalkeeper. However, he can still maintain sufficient contact by bringing it up. The plays were close. So 5-3, he can make his 3-point. It does lose the builder on the 6-point, which is a little awkward. 2-1, Neil makes his bar point, so now he has a solid 5 prime. Kit's looking to possibly double. It's not quite a double because of that goalkeeper, and the racing lead is only 6 pips. Kit is a favorite here. You see he's winning 63% of the time. But Neil has enough racing chances to win this. He does double again. Neil takes before it touches the board. 5-4. So he can make his 4-point. It does strip the 2 points in his outfield. Rendering the structure slightly more inflexible. 5-1. Okay, so now he decides to come out. 6-3. So now Kit's just going to want to clear past the anchor as safely as possible without leaving a shot. Now 6-5. He can either make his 2-point or run 1 back checker. Running the back checker is better for the race. And an 11 is a pretty good racing roll. Double 1. He just wants to break the contact, so he plays all the way down to the 11-point with both checkers. 4-2, he can't move the back checker, so he plays 7-1. 2-1, he's just going to play inside. Always look at that shifting play, so he made that 2-point there. 5-2, he plays 1 off the anchor. Double 3, that's a great roll for Kit. Brings 2 in, clears the back point. Now he's not going to have much difficulty at all clearing. 6-4. So Neil can run down by 13 before and down by 3 after. So now the race is relatively close, but Kit rolls a good racing number in 11. 2-1. Neil rolls his worst. That was a bad sequence for Neil, even though that 6-4 allowed him to run and get decent chances in the race. So now another dice rolling contest. Kit's going to bring 2 checkers in. Double 5, that's good. He's going to bring 2 in like that, and the third one all the way in. So now Neil is ahead by 3 pips. Kit rolls a 6. Now Kit's up by 6 pips. If Neil can roll something big, Might be able to redouble. No, 3-1, not good. Double 4. That's a great roll, despite the fact that it only bears off 2 checkers, being that it's a double. Gains a lot of ground in the race, as my good friend Bill Riles says. Moves a lot of freight. 5-1. If you've never been to this tournament, the Texas Backgammon Championships, I highly recommend it. Bill Riles and Tara Mendocino run an outstanding tournament. One of the most popular tournaments in the United States. Always gets a good turnout, always on the weekend of the Super Bowl. A lot of stuff to do in San Antonio. The weather is rather moderate this time of year in February. He holds it at a hotel in downtown San Antonio, unlike a lot of the other tournaments that hold it near the airport. That allows people to step out of the hotel, go to a nice nearby restaurant. There's a lot to do there. There's the river walk. There are things to see. There's the historic Alamo. Neil's going to need a lot of help here. They run the tournament for a good 5 days or 6 days with all of these preliminary events like this, UBC USA. So Kit takes that game, takes a 4-2 lead in the 7-point match. 3 away, 5 away. Four one comes down and slots. Now Kit can hit with a 3 or an 8, 4 or an 8. He doesn't get the 4, but he gets the 8, the 5-3. It's clear to hit. Usually you make the 3-point with an early 5-3, but you have to look at those opportunities. So 3-1, he comes in with the 3 and covers with the 1. That gives the benefit of not putting a third checker on the 24-point and not stripping the 8-point. Double 4, that's a good roll. So he brings 2 up and 2 down, making the 9-point. Very strong structure. Double 6 for Kit. So this is a little bit awkward because he has 1 checker back and he can only bring it to the 18 points. So he brings those 3 and he's looking for the 4th one. He just has to bring that out. It does duplicate the hitting aces on the 4-point and the 18-point. 6-3 for Neil, so he's able to hit and bring another checker down. 5-1, so the 1 is forced. And the 5, he's just going to have to come down. Now, Neil is doubling. Turns out to be a small no double. The reason for that is because although he has a pretty strong offensive structure, he has 3 back without a midpoint, and it may be hard for him to bring things home. Kit does have a 19-pip racing lead, so it makes it a comfortable take, but the blot on the 4-point is susceptible to being hit with a 1. However, that 1 is duplicated to cover the 7-point. So if Neil hits with a 1 and is able to make the 7-point, for example, with a double 1, 2-1, or 3-1, that would be good. These ones are difficult to find. Kit does pass, so now the score is 4-3. 3 away, 4 away. This is a sensitive score. If you want to learn about match-based strategies, Kit Woolsey actually wrote a very good book some time ago called How to Play Tournament Backgammon. There's a newer book by Nick Blazier called Adjusting to Match Play, which is outstanding as well. And you can learn a lot by reading Dirk Schieman's book, The Theory of Backgammon. That has a lot, but it is very technical. There's a lot of math. So if that's not your thing, It's a hard read. Basically, what happens at 4 away is a double gammon wins you the match perfectly. So you want to double aggressively in a one-way gammonish position when you're winning a lot of gammon. So oftentimes there's a fight for the high innerboard points, and that's what he does with a double 5. Now Kit comes in with a 3-1, hits back on the 20 point, sends another checker back. Neil rolls another double 5 and does the same idea. They're just hitting back and forth on that point. 4-1 again. He hits, and it's just back and forth. Now 5-1, same thing. He comes in and then hits that way. Now 2-1. Kit cannot hit on the 20 point, but he can come in, splitting his back checkers and hit loose there. Oftentimes in the early game, there's a fight for the high innerboard points. When you make a second innerboard point, that's a big advantage as compared to a single innerboard point that you start with, because there are 4 rolls which fail to come in from the bar with 1 checker on the bar. 6-1, he makes his bar point. Solid 4 prime. That blocked that back checker. So now with a double 6, he's going to bring 2 down there, and then he can point on head, make the 2 point. That does make a 4-point board. 5-2, Neil dances. Kid still has some work to do, so he can't double yet. You have to be a little careful at this score. In general, when you're the leader, you want to be a little bit more cautious, and when you're the trailer, you want to be more aggressive. However, that's not always the case. For example, at a 4-way, 5-way score, the leader can double more aggressively. Double 5, Neil dances. Now Kit is looking, but Kit has a lot of work to do. He has to juggle things on both sides of the board, and he's leading. However, because of his stronger board, he's going to win a lot of gammons. That will win him the match if he gets a double gammon. However, it's a little bit inefficient. So he rolls a 6-3. Now 4-1. This is difficult because the 1 is forced. Despite the risk, it looks like it's best to hit loose on the 4 point. You can also play safe with 11-1. That leaves 1s and 5 2s. That's 13 numbers. If you hit loose, that leaves 4s, 3-1, and double 2, along with 6-2 and 5-3. That's a lot of numbers. That's 19 numbers. But taking away the tempo does a lot. Hitting does take away half his roll that White can use to develop. Okay, so now he rolls a double 4. He's going to make his 4 point, his 5th innerboard point, the 3 point, and play in double 2. So he can make the 9 point, but then White can still escape with 6s. So he's going to make the point on head, making the 3 point board with a solid 4 prime, knocking him off the edge of the prime. Comes in with the 5-3. He's able to come in and come out or play safe 8-3. If he comes out, he'll be stepping into a double shot. But Neil will have to break his midpoint to hit with a 5 or a 4-1. (6-3) for Neil. So it looks like he really wants to get one of those spares off, and he's going to run all the way, despite the fact that he can be hit with an ace or double 6. 6-5. That's a great roll. Brings it all the way around. Now Kit is too good to double. Double 4 for Neil. So 1, he can make his 3-point. Yeah, just like that. Now this is a borderline double, no double. So Kit's winning a lot of gammons. He's winning 82% of the time here. You can see that in the XG feed. And 18% gammons. He does double. And if Neil passes, it will be 4 away, 2 away. He does pass. After a short break, the players are resuming. So now Kit leads 2 away, 4 away. That means Kit's absolute score is 5 out of 7, which is 2 away of his goal to 7. And Neil has 3, which is 4 away. At 4 away, 2 away, the trailer is going to want to win a double gammon for the match in a single game. So he's going to try to play aggressively and double quickly. And the leader oftentimes will take, because then he'll just need to win that single game. However, what happens is the cube becomes killed. The leader will have no value of cube ownership. So now it's not quite a double, but it's close. 4-2. So he has a couple of choices here. On these third roll positions, sometimes you have a choice of making an inner board point or an offensive point or a defensive point. Here the offensive point would be the 4-point. The defensive point would be the 18-point. Depends on where the opponent's inner board point is. So if white has the 3-point or the 2-point, it's better to make the 4-point with the 4-2. But if it's the 5-point or the 4-point, then if white owns the 5 or the 4, it's better to make that defensive point. The other thing about this score is you want to play a little more aggressively, so it's slightly better to have made the 4-point. In any event, Kit rolls a 5-4, hitting a checker, sending another one back. 6-4, he comes in, and then being that he's behind in the race and has 3 checkers back, it's better to just bring one down. That's what he does. Kit hits with another 6-3. Hits and continues to anchor safely on his 15-point. 6-2, another awkward roll. The 2 is forced, and he's going to play the 6 down. 6-2, this is an awkward roll because there's nothing productive. He can't play safely off the 15-point, which is the point he wants to clear given that he's ahead so far in the race. He can hit with the 2 and then hit again, hitting 2 blots, but it does put 2 checkers on the bar, but it does leave 2 blots in the board. White does have a stronger board, but he lacks the ammunition to continue. Looks like it was better to just play 13-5. He doesn't have a double quite yet, despite the score. But 4-2, great roll. He comes in with both and hits 2 checkers. Double 6. That's the worst possible swing for Kit. And now it's a double and a big pass. Almost too good to double. Black is winning a lot of gammons here with a triple shot and another blot, and looks like 9 checkers in the zone to try to make his board. Kit correctly passes, so now Kit is leading 2-away, 3-away. At this score, the trailer, who's at 3-away, wants to be a little bit more aggressive, trying to win an undoubled gammon, because that will get him to the Crawford game of gammon save. 1-away, 2-away Crawford. No cube in the Crawford game. The Crawford rule was named after John Crawford, who co-wrote the Backgammon book with Oswald Jacoby. And the Crawford rule states that when one player gets to 1 point of winning the match, in this case 6 because the match is up to 7, there is no doubling for 1 game. That gives the leader a little bit of a cushion. Speaking of John Crawford and his co-author Oswald Jacoby, a little bit of trivia. Oswald Jacoby and Kit Woolsey are the only 2 people that are in the Hall of Fame for both backgammon and bridge. Kit is also one of the best bridge players in the world. Now 4-1, so he comes in on the ace, putting 3 checkers. Looks like it was slightly better to hit loose on the 5 point, but they were close. So 5-3, he's going to come in with a 3 and anchor on the 15. It's nice to have the 20-point anchor, but then there's no 3. Double 1. So he's going to make his 5 points, split his back checkers. It's really bad to have 3 checkers on the 24 point, and he just advances that. Looks like she preferred playing to the bar point, but they're close. Now 2-1 for Kit. Nothing productive. 6-3 at least puts a checker on the bar and unstacks the 6 point. Neil didn't have a double yet. Now he rolls a 6-2. It's a little bit awkward because that's a Ray Fogel and 6-2 from the bar. He says 2-6 from the bar. 6 he's going to have to play down to the bar point. Now 6-3 for Kit. I think he'll have to just bring that out and cover his blot with the 3. Now 4-3, he's able to hit. Good roll for Neil. 5-1. So he's forced to come in with the 1, and the 5 he'll just have to play down. 13-8. 2-1. So he can cover with the 2, or he can cover with the 1. So when you have that option, you want to see what you can do with the other half of the roll. Looks like it's best to be able to move from 23 to 21, in which case you can play 8-7. The additional benefit of playing 8-7 rather than 9-7 is that you keep the back of the prime slotted. And you don't really want to put 2 checkers on the 23 point, in particular when the opponent has 4 checkers on the 8 point. If the 8 point were stripped, that would be one thing, because then it freezes those checkers. But now it makes it a little more difficult to come out, to escape that back checker. 3-1's a good roll. Makes his 5 point. 3-1 for Neil. Steps up and plays 8-7. Now 5-2 for Kit. So he's going to step up and just come down. 4-2 for Neil. Okay, so he's going to step up with the 2, make that anchor. And then he can play 13-9, slotting the back of the prime, or he can hit loose. Hitting loose does put a checker on the bar. However, you're outboarded, and this prime will be nice. It would be hitting on the point that you don't want to make. So now with the 4-3, nothing good. He's just going to have to play behind with 8-1. He doesn't want to play 15-8 because he kind of needs that anchor as a landing spot for the back checker. Does play 13-6, leaves a block. Neil can hit with an ace, a 9, or an 11. So that means 6-3, 5-4, 6-5, and double 3. 7, 18 numbers, half the numbers hit. So that hits with the 6-1. The 1 hits, and he's going to hit a second checker. 2 on the bar is better by far. It's a double tempo play. 6-3. Okay, so he comes in with 1, some good, some bad. He hits another checker, but still has a checker on the bar. Double 3. That was one of 9 fanning numbers. 3-2. Okay, so he can come in and hit. He wants to come in with that 3. That way both back checkers are seeing daylight. That means they can escape with a 6. And he hits with a 2. 5-1. Bad roll. He's unable to secure the second anchor. 6-5. So he wants to come out with 1, but then he'll leave a lot of blots. Looks like the best play is to actually do that and hit loose. That's very interesting. That's a hard one to find. Hit loose on the ace point for lack of other alternatives. What that does is it puts a second checker on the bar, gives white a little bit of security. So he does play 2 off the 8 point, keeping his anchor. But given that he has such a big racing lead, he needs to start moving. So Neil came in with a 5-2. Still, both players have a checker on the bar. Kit dances with a 6-5. Now, at this score, this is the double. The gammons are rather equal, but it's a high volatility position. That means there can be big swings on the next exchange. So Neil can hit with 1s and 3s after entering. Notice that he cannot enter with a 3. So the 3 that hits is actually valuable because 4-3, 3-2, and 3-1 will hit. Additionally, he has the benefit of that solid 4 prime, which acts as a pretty good blockade, whereas Kit does not have that. Kit's back checkers are likely to become stranded, and he's going to have a hard time bringing those home, especially if Neil is able to hit one of those checkers in the outfield. He decides to roll. He rolls a 6-2, another Ray Fogerland. So comes in with a 2, and he comes out. So that puts a lot of pressure on those outfield blots. 5-1 for Kit. So the 1 is forced, and he'll safety that blot with 13-8. So now another doubling decision. It turns out now it's too good. Oh no, now it's a redouble. Now it's a double and a pass. Now because of that exchange, Black has really good outfield control. He's going to win a lot more gammons, and he wins more games. So the 5-3 hits and then comes out trying to escape the back checkers. Six 2 comes in and brings 1 out. Now Neil's looking to double. This is a strong double and a pass. Kit is up by 24 pips, but with those 3 blots in the board and the 4th blot, that's a lot of blots. It's called TMB, too many blots. He does double. they have modified this ZMF clock to allow for a little space on the clock to put the cube. Otherwise, there's not a lot of room. So he does take. Neil's looking for a doubled gammon to win the match. Alright, he rolls a 5-2. He's going to come out. Looks like the computer didn't even want him to safety. Alright, 4-2 for Kit. He's got a safety. He's got to make that anchor with 24-22. And then find a 4. There is not a good 4. The other option would be 23-21. (3-2) for Neil. He's going to play like that. Spread out his checkers. Kit can hit with a 7, but that would leave a blot on the board. He doesn't roll it. He rolls a 3-1. He's going to have to play safe with 8-5 and cover his blot. Neil's looking to attack. 4-2, not ideal. He can make the 14 point. He can play all the way down. Making the 14 point does put pressure in the outfield. But he does play 16-10. Now 5-3. He's just going to safety that checker. That gives Neil good outfield control. 5-3 for Neil. So he can play 2 off. But it is nice to kind of stay back and maintain that outfield, that contact, because he is behind in the race. Looks like it's better to just play 18-10. 6-4. So he's going to have to do something, and he does. And he can afford to do a play like this because he has a stronger board. Nevertheless, Neil's looking to attack. He can do that. He can hit twice. Hitting twice puts 2 checkers on the bar. That's really good play. It takes away the entire roll rather than just half the roll. Wow. Kit rolls a double 3, comes in with both checkers, hits, and now 2 more 3s are a little bit awkward because he cannot move the back checkers. He's got to play on his side, so he'll have to probably break his 8 point or play 8-5 and then continue to the 2 point. That's what he does. Double 3. Neil dances. So now Kit has the initiative, looking for a good roll. 5-4 is not a good roll. Can't move the back checkers. Best he can do is cover his 4 point, and then with the 5 he'll have to play there. The alternative would be to play the 5-8-3 and then 5-1. Neil's looking to hit with a 6 or a 1. No, he gets a 4-2 and dances. Kit's looking to bring things home. 6-4, so the 6 is good. It hits, and the 4 is also good because it covers. Now Neil really needs a 6. He gets it. 6-2. Sends another checker back. Alright. This is getting exciting. 5-3. So the 3 is forced. And where is he going? It's forced. He's got to play 16-11 with the 5. Neil needs another 6 soon. No, 4-2. Wrong 6. 6 on 1 die. Now 6-3. He's got to start moving. He's got to move that back checker out and just continue. Neil needs a 6. No, he rolls a 2-1. Kit can attack with 4s and 2s. He does. 4-3. So he's going to hit with the 4. And the 3, he can hit another checker, which is the best play, because it'll give him good 5s, which are blocked on the other side if he were missed. If he plays 11-8 and then rolls a 5, he's going to have to play deep in his board. It would, of course, leave a direct shot. That would be 11 numbers to hit. He does find the right play. Neil needs a 6. No, double 5. Kid's looking to cover. 3-2. He can't cover. He's going to advance his back checker and probably safety the blot. Alright, now Neil needs a 6, preferably a double 6. Double 4, at least it was a double. 6-3, so he's going to escape the back checker. And let's see. He can continue, which pays off to the double 6 or play safely like that. He does play safe. Neil dances with a 4-1. Now a 6-3. So the 6 is forced, and no matter what he does, a double 6 will hit. Looks like it would have been better to play 8-5 for that reason. So Neil comes in with 1 with a 6-4. Now 6-3. So he's just going to have to stay away from that double 6. He doesn't want to leave a checker on the 12 point. He's going to bring 2 down. Does leave him an awkward double 6 next, which would leave a shot. 6-3 comes in with 1. Okay, so now double 2s and double 3s are blocked. Double 6, some good, some bad. 1, 2, 3, that's completely forced. He's going to leave a shot. Now Neil needs a 5. That would really do a lot for him. No, 4-3. 5-4, bears off 2 checkers, safe so far. Neil comes in with a 6-5, and that's it. He concedes. Congratulations to Kit Woolsey on winning the match. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and you'll be notified every time I upload a new video. Please let me know what you think in the comments below and what you'd like to see in future videos so I can work on that. Thank you again to my good friends Bill Riles and Tara Mendocino of Ace Point Backgammon and the Texas Backgammon Championship for allowing me to use this video in the commentary. They have an outstanding tournament. Definitely recommend checking it out. People really love it. Again, my book, Backgammon, Backgame Strategies, is available. There's a link in the description to where you can get it. And if you're interested in lessons, please contact me via email. My email address is in the description. I look forward to seeing everyone in future videos. And until then, keep rolling your dice.